To the teams, there was plenty of talk that Louis Saha would start for Everton today, but David Moyes has resisted that temptation. Instead, he opts for Brazilian Joe to lead the attack, with Saha on the bench. Joe's inclusion is the only change from the side which beat Middlesbrough in the FA Cup quarter-finals last week. It's Jack Rodwell who makes way. It's same again for Tony Pulis. He sticks with the 11 which beat Bolton Wanderers at the Britannia Stadium 10 days ago. That means James Beattie faces his former club for the very first time since leaving Goodison. Ricardo Fuller and Matthew Etherington are on the bench. The wig sellers won't be too pleased that Marouane Fellaini has braided his hair. Stoke City kick off, having given themselves a real fighting chance of survival. Eventually. There we go, take two from Andre Mariner and Stoke City. They have given themselves a real fighting chance of survival. They found some form just in the nick of time, which has moved them out of the bottom three for now. But this is a tough test against an Everton side still buzzing after their FA Cup quarter-final win. And with eyes on maybe a top 5 finish, maybe a top 4 finish.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Trevor Francis. 2 weeks ago, we saw Stoke at Aston Villa. Tony Pulis experimented with 3 at the back and wing-backs. Didn't work. After 45 minutes, he changed it to a normal 4-4-2, and it produced an improved performance in the second half. And that's the way they start today at Goodison Park, 4-4-2. Everton, 4-4, 1-1. KO in his normal role, just off the front man, Joe.
It was thought that Louis Saha would start this game, but David Moyes has resisted that temptation for now. Hoping that the Frenchman will make an impact from the bench if needed. Everton on the front foot. It's knocked away by Shawcross just in front of Joe.
Well, that was the first opening for Everton, and it needed a better ball from Baines. He was under no pressure, got in behind Liam Lawrence quite easily, and he had time to compose himself and deliver a ball into the box, but couldn't get it past the first man.
Of all the teams in the bottom half of the Premier League right now, only Bolton have a better record than Stoke City in the last 5 games. Stoke have just found a little bit of form, charging up away from the danger zone, but still looking over their shoulders. They could drop back in there today. One thing in Stoke City's favour, though, is that 4 clubs around them are all playing each other. This is Yobo, who established himself at the heart of Everton's defence, with Jagielka moving to right back in the absence of Hibbert. PIENAAR. Baines getting forward, big part of Everton's attacking prowess. The fullbacks getting forward, particularly Leighton Baines on that far side. PIENAAR after this, may get to it. Joe waiting in the middle, it's a corner to Everton.
What a timely interception that was from Shawcross, rectifying his mistake, allowed the ball to bounce. PIENAAR nipped in behind him, and then as the cross was going to be so inviting for Joe, in came the block from Shawcross.
Cahill waiting, so too Fellaini and Joe. It was headed away by Rory Delap. Joe tried to make something of this, but the ball just has enough on it to find Thomas Sorensen. He's conceded almost 30 goals, Thomas Sorensen, in 17 games against Everton. Tony Pulis will be hoping that his goalkeeper improves on that record here today. Plenty of onus on Stephen PIENAAR and Leon Osman to create for Everton in the absence of Mikel Arteta. Jagielka. Jagielka again. This is Phil Neville. He's trying to play the ball through to PIENAAR, hacked away by Wilkinson.
Gary, I mentioned a little earlier the way that Everton had lined up. In fact, it's not quite as I mentioned, and David Moyes has sprung a little surprise because KO is not actually playing off the front man. He's playing very deep at the moment in a central midfield role alongside Neville. and Fellaini is the one who's playing up there alongside Joe. So that's something we should keep our eye on.
Yeah, Marouane Fellaini supporting Joe. Tim Cahill playing as part of a flat midfield four. Pienaar to Baines. Joe at the near post. This is Leon Osman. Can only find the fans in the Gladys Street. Not a nice, neat move though from Everton.
Well, Baines is getting in on that left-hand side far too often for Tony Pulis' liking. Good ball from Pienaar. Goes a little bit behind Osman. Strikes it with his left foot, off balance. Doesn't hit the target.
Yobo with some defending to do.
And here comes the long throw again, and I pointed out a little earlier that Glenn Whelan was left unmarked on the edge of the box. I mentioned that because if the ball does come out, he has a terrific shot on him. So just keep your eye on that situation.
He's waiting now, just outside the D of the penalty area with Glenn Whelan. Here we go then, Rory Delap with the throw in. Sidibe the target, this comes off the head of JOLEON LESCOTT. And Everton, you fancy, would rather face a corner than a throw in. Delay 5 forward for Stoke City. This is where Stoke really are a threat. Tim Howard, he's barged, but he does well to hold on to the ball. Very waved on by Andre Mariner. But the ball swung out.
Well, the referee was slightly unlucky there, wasn't he? Because it was good refereeing and playing the advantage. He saw that Howard had good possession, but of course he couldn't play advantage when the linesman had signalled that he'd actually gone out for a goal kick.
There was a tester there for Tim Howard, and just a little taster maybe of what may be to come a little later. Joe to Fellaini. Joe, he's onside here, on his left foot, Joe! It's squeezed home! Everton in front, just about. We won, 1-0.
Well, Saracens gone to pick the ball out of the back of the net. He'll be crestfallen because that was a goalkeeping error. Good link-up play between Joe and Fellaini. And Joe gets the credit, of course, for getting his shot away nice and early on target. There's the ball from Fellaini. Takes a little deflection. Good take by Joe onto his left foot, straight at Sorensen. And Sorensen allows it to go underneath his body into the back of the net. Stamps the ground with his fist. He's furious.
Joe, the latest Everton player whose career David Moyes is trying to resurrect after making him a loan signing here. You think of Pienaar, Arteta, Tim Howard, all loan signings initially by David Moyes. And he's struck his third goal for Everton at this loan spell for Manchester City. Stephen Pienaar is down on the far side for Everton as they get the goal kick here. He's had his fair share of injuries, Stephen Pienaar, in the last couple of years. Missed the first 6 weeks of the season with a toe injury.
Well, he's certainly caught one there, hasn't he, Pienaar, in the base of the spine. That'll be very painful. But it was an honest challenge from Wilkinson. Wasn't penalised, and that was a correct decision.
And Stoke City, as you can see, with a man down of their own.
Well, it was certainly unintentional, but the left boot of Baines caught Lawrence on the head. Obviously the studs have done the damage. Here's the link-up play, Joe to Fellaini. There you see the ball takes a little deflection off the foot of Salif Diao, which certainly assists Joe. He takes it out of his stride. There it is, off Diao. One touch with his right foot onto his left. Despairing challenge from Shawcross, straight at the goalkeeper. I don't think Joe would have expected to have scored with that shot.
After the injury nightmare he's had, he certainly won't want to go off, and straight back on the field. Just clips off Marouane Fellaini. for Lawrence, number 51. Short cross, trying to get the better of Joe. More up than out, and Joe tangling at Salih Jow. Higginbottom. James Beattie, the target. That's a flick as well in front of JOLEON LESCOTT. Osman. Wants to run with the ball, Leon Osman. That's a return from FELLAINI. Play, and Nathan Baines was caught.
There's a little bit of retribution there from Lawrence on Baines. That would suggest, you know, that Lawrence feels that Baines inflicted that injury earlier intentionally, but I can't think for one moment that it was intentional. It was definitely an accident.
First yellow card of the game goes to Liam Lawrence for that challenge on Baines. Jagielka and LESCOTT both forward. Sorensen makes the decision to come. Puts his fist to it. Yobo, space here for Leon Osman. Usual suspects forward, and Thomas Sorensen with a save, and JOLEON LESCOTT makes it 2-0 to Everton. Sorensen with the initial save, but JOLEON LESCOTT was there sweeping up, and Everton have a 2-goal advantage.
Well, the first goal was a mistake from that man Sorensen. The second one, I'm afraid, it's even worse.
Second Everton goal of the day, and the scorer, number 5, JOLEON LESCOTT.
Yobo plays it to Osman, has all the time in the world, sticks it in the box, the head of Cahill straight at the goalkeeper. It falls to LESCOTT, who has the easy task of putting it back into the net. It really is soft goalkeeping from Thomas Sorensen. One or two shouts for offside, but LESCOTT was clearly onside as the header came in from Cahill, and that should have been a routine save for the Stoke goalkeeper.
Coach's goal from JOLEON LESCOTT. Struck 10 times last season, that's his 5th of this campaign, and his 100th Premier League start for Everton. A 2-0 lead against Stoke City is a scoreline fraught with danger. 3 times Stoke have come back from that deficit this season, including once against Everton at the Britannia Stadium, which Everton eventually went on to win. Thomas Sorensen beaten twice already in this game in the opening 25 minutes or so. Everton have yet to have too much cause for concern from these throw-ins by Rory Delap. Bumped away by Jagielka. PIENAAR trying to put Whelan under pressure.
Just looking down at Tony Pulis and constantly looking at his watch. I think he'd be very relieved to get in at half-time. Scoreline still 2-0, because quite literally they haven't really taken part in this game, have they? It's been all Everton. You want to get stuck into them during the half-time interval.
Maybe an opportunity here. It's Danny Higginbottom. So many bodies are hit inside the penalty area. And Tim Howard made an early decision to come for that ball, and it's the right call as well.
I think you may see 1 or 2 changes in personnel at half-time. But the biggest change, I think, will come from Tony Pulis when he tries to inject a little bit more from his players, because this isn't the Stoke side that we've come to expect. They normally play with such honesty and aggression and determination, all the things that Tony Pulis takes for granted now from his players. But we haven't seen this, have we, in the first half?
Well, at Villa Park a couple of weeks ago, you remember Tony Pulis held his hand up for employing the wrong tactics by playing 5 at the back. He stuck with his preferred tried and tested method of 4-4-2 today, but they haven't got themselves in this game, Stoke City. And of course, most of that credit goes to Everton for that. This 2-goal advantage. Osman wants the ball back and gets it back. After they fire across. 3 waiting in the middle for Leon Osman. Osman again. Loud appeals, many from the crowd for a foul by Abdoulaye Faye. It's FELLAINI. Now Cahill. Wouldn't come down for Tim Cahill. Drag back there on Salif Jah, which the referee waves on. James Beattie, you'll see here. He keeps the ball in play, he's all alone. James Beattie is the informed striker in the Premier League right now. 5 goals in his last 7 games for Stoke City. And Kevin Campbell moving to West Bromwich Albion, having a similar impact a few years ago, which played a massive part in West Bromwich Albion staying up. There's Joe. Almost on the dance floor, Joe. Osman, nice play from Leon Osman. Good football again from Everton.
Great football, in fact, from Everton, but all too easily. Joe comes off, they've got to get tighter on him. Waits for the run of Osman, and then Osman gets a great turn with his left foot, tries to curl it around Sorensen, and very nearly succeeds. Just look how far Faye is off Osman there, a good 2 or 3 yards, allowing him to turn in the penalty box. Onto his left foot, here comes the shot.
It'll be a minimum of 3 minutes of added time. 3 minutes.
You may well have heard, we'll have 3 minutes of added time at half-time here at Goodison. Sidibe. There's Rory Delap. Marched on by the Stoke City travelling army of fans. And it breaks down all too easily.
Well, I'm convinced that the Stoke dressing room will be a very lively one at half-time. I've already mentioned that Tony Pulis will be anxious to get his players in there and regroup and start changing 1 or 2 things for the second half. And as for Everton, David Moyes, he'll be absolutely delighted. But he'll just be reminding the players of what happened 2 weeks ago with Aston Villa, and Villa was strolling to a 2-0 victory, and you never write Stoke off, and that's what happened that day. The most extraordinary turnaround, and he's got to guard his players against that kind of complacency that we saw from Aston Villa players 2 weeks ago.
It can be a precarious scoreline 2-0, but that was an almighty turnaround at Villa Park that day. I don't think anyone could see it coming at all. Joe with the layoff. Joe again. A challenge by Ryan Shawcross, had to make that count. Osman having his shirt pulled. Referee was about to let play go on and then pulls it back for a pulling of the shirt on Leon Osman by Salif Jah.
Well, once again, a good spot by the referee. He tried to play the vantage rule, but I think that warrants a yellow card.
It's a ticking off, and that's all it is from Andre Mariner to Salif Jah. What will Everton fancy from this? Will it be a cross inside the penalty area, or will Leighton Baines go for it on his left foot? Yet to score for Everton, Leighton Baines. He has scored a couple of beauties in his time though for Wigan. Cahill is waiting. Hands on hips. Joe is on the penalty spot.
Where's Cahill?
It's Baines, he has gone for it, just nicks off the wall. Everton have a corner and stoppage time at the end of the first half. It's the final opportunity, you'd imagine, of this first 45. Everton looking for a 3rd goal, which will put them in a terrific position at the break. Sorensen came through traffic. It's not the decision, Thomas Sorensen. You'll be pleased, David Moyes, because at half-time, Everton have a 2-goal advantage against Stoke City. Joe with the first after linking up with FELLAINI from a long ball over the top. And the shot squeezed past Thomas Sorensen. And then JOLEON LESCOTT made it 2-0 after Cahill's header was saved by Sorensen, but straight into the path of JOLEON LESCOTT. Stoke City have yet to get going in this game. At the break, it's Everton 2, Stoke City 0. Everton making a change at half-time as well. Louis Sahar looks like he's stripped off on the far side. There he comes. It was rooted around the place. He will start this game today. On he comes in place of Tim Cahill.
And Tim's replacement.
So, a switching formation by Everton as well. You'd expect Joe and Sahar now to go in a two-pronged attack up top. It was a comfortable first half for Everton, but Stoke City have a history of fighting back from 2 down this season. Job not yet done for David Moyes' side. Louis Sahar on at the start of the second half for Everton in place of Tim Cahill.
Yes, I can only assume that's because of a slight injury to Cahill, because FELLAINI and Joe formed a very effective partnership during the first half, and I wouldn't have thought that David Moyes would have been in too much of a hurry to change that. Stoke haven't made the changes that I was anticipating.
Roy waiting in the middle, but comfortable playing for Thomas Sorensen.
But what I think will have happened during the half-time interval is that there have been 1 or 2 harsh words from Tony Pulis. He'll be looking for a reaction in the second half. I would anticipate that Stoke will play with a greater determination than they showed in the first half.
They do need to improve, Stoke City, if they're to get anything out of this game. All Everton in that first half, and Osman was just caught on the far side, but I think the throw-in is being given. Coming together between Rory Delap and Leon Osman initially. And the ball thumped out of play. Play continues here with Joe. As he caught from behind. Andre Mariner says no, it was Giles' challenge, and Joe has stayed down. This is Sidibe. Joe is still down for Everton after that tackle by Salif Diao, and Abdoulaye Faye knocking the ball out of play so the Brazilian can receive some treatment.
The way that Joe signalled there with his arm aloft suggests to me that he could be in a little bit of difficulty here. My initial thought was that Diao had fouled him from behind. Let's have another look at this. Here comes the challenge. He certainly got some of the ball, didn't he? But it appeared to be more of a scissors challenge, which normally is interpreted as an illegal challenge.
The referee was in a perfect spot here. The referee saw nothing wrong with that. Let's just try and sniff something out here. Tim Howard smothering the ball.
And that's what happens if you don't win the first ball. Nobody goes with Sidibe, straight to Beattie, plays it across, looking for Lawrence. But Howard does very well diving at the feet of Liam Lawrence.
You can see Lawrence back with the number 7 on his shirt now in this second half. And Joe back on the field for Everton. Machoba. And Sahar. He's had an impact for Everton since making the switch from Manchester United this season. Louis Sahar, apart from when he's been on the treatment table. There's no doubt he's a talent when he's fit. As is Stephen Pienaar. Well, the idea was right to try and play in Joe. Just the execution was a little awry.
Lovely footwork this by Pienaar to get away from the fullback Wilkinson. And then he's trying to play the ball in behind Shawcross for Joe, but just a little too close to Sorensen. Good idea.
He was out quite early at during the break, Thomas Sorensen, who would have been happy with the 2 goals he conceded in the first half. He was out for a good 6, 7, maybe 8, 9 minutes ahead of the rest of his teammates for the second half. It's not a ground where Sorensen has fared too well at. He did 5 here when playing a goal for Sunderland back in 1999. FELLAINI. This is Joe trying to shake off Jao. Baines. It's a heavy touch on Leighton Baines, which invited the challenge from Wilkinson. It's FELLAINI's cross. I think Ricardo Fuller is about to come on for Stoke City. The tackle by Phil Jagielka. I know all about Stoke City. Phil Jagielka, his brother Steve, is on the books. He plays for AFC Telford. That's Sidibe, who wins a corner for Stoke City, and this is where they have to make these count.
It all came about on a throw-in where Everton, for that split second, went to sleep, and Sidibe found himself in yards of space.
Everton will miss the presence of Tim Cahill here. His defensive duties and defending set pieces. Short cross, the inevitable target, and he's found the net. And maybe, just maybe, Stoke City could fight back once more.
Well, the marking from Everton was non-existent. They had 11 players back defending this corner. Nobody's with Shawcross. Free header from 10 yards. This angle right in the corner, but I think Howard should save that. I spoke about nobody on the goalpost, and that was a situation where if Everton had somebody on the far post, it would have been a routine clearance. There was nobody there, but still, having said that, I think Howard's entitled to get across his goal and make the save.
Stoke City have made the change. Ricardo Fuller has come on in place of Mamadi Sidibe. Fuller, who's made an impact in his last 2 games against Aston Villa and Bolton on the field. And Stoke City are on the charge again. At Aston Villa, they came back from 2 down to draw. At Newcastle, they came back from 2 down to draw. Against Everton, they came back from 2 down, but were beaten 3-2 late on. Liam Lawrence rushes off the head of James Beattie. First chance in this game to run for Ricardo Fuller, and Stoke City have another corner, and they have the wind in their sails. And Stoke City scored from the last one. What can they do from this one? Incidentally, Tim Cahill's substitution was a tactical one by David Moyes. Maybe resting the legs of the Aussie. Tim Howard, he's dropped it, but regains his composure. But Stoke City have rattled Everton right at the start of this second half. Goals Ryan Shawcross has now scored for Stoke City. 8 of them have been away from home, including the one here.
It was Shawcross who scored the opening goal at Villa Park, wasn't it? That started the comeback for Stoke.
It was. Will it be deja vu? Shawcross winning the header above Louis Sahar. Here's Baines. PIENAAR. The Stoke City fans, you can hear making a noise inside Goodison Park. Just under 3,000 have made the relatively short journey, just over 40 miles up the M6 to Merseyside today. They've seen the side fall 2-0 behind, and they've seen the side maybe find a way back in again.
And that's awful defending, isn't it?
And Everton not finding their man. There's Ricardo Fuller. Taken off him by Yobo, and LESCOTT trying to make the clearance count. It's Rory Delap. Tim Howard prevents, does he, the corner? No. Another corner to Stoke City. The pressure almost relentless from the visitors.
Well, Stoke have done exactly what I'm sure Tony Pulis would have asked for in this second half. They've got in the faces of Everton. They had it too easy in the first half, Everton. They were never closed down. They were given far too much respect. This hasn't happened in the second half, and now they've certainly got the home side a little rattled.
Oh, that wasn't far away, was it? That could well have been 2-2 from Danny Higginbottom. And Shawcross came galloping in at the far post as well to try and make a connection.
Well, the outswinging corner from Lawrence is met by Higginbottom, slightly off balance, but he was probably entitled to hit the target. Once again, nobody on the goalpost. It actually comes off his arm, doesn't it? He doesn't head it.
If he had, it may well have been 2-2. Terrific start to the second half by Stoke City. Jagielka's cross, Sorensen could hear the call from here. Must be a manager's nightmare at times, Trevor. You've been there, your team has not got into the game in the first half, giving your opponents a 2-goal advantage, and then suddenly you start playing.
Well, I think you mentioned that sometimes 2-0 is a strange scoreline, because there's a sense of we've done our business this afternoon, the difficult part is over. A little complacency sets in at 2-0 because you think we've got the game wrapped up, and all of a sudden the opposition, they score, and it's very difficult to pick the tempo up again. And at the moment, Everton are finding just that.
Phil Neville is back on his feet, but took a knock to his hip, I think, or maybe the small of his back. Jagielka, who's normally an accomplished performer for Everton, but he's rattled as well. He's closed down. Flying challenge. This is the character from Stoke City you talked about in the first half, Trevor. Whelan. And it's Jow. Another corner to Stoke City. Howard wasn't too sure.
I think it came off FELLAINI, the speculative shot from Jow. It's another corner, another opportunity to put Everton under pressure. There's plenty of nerves out there now, also being transmitted from the fans too.
Beatty going up, Jagielka with the header. Pienaar. That's Whelan, still plenty forward in striped shirts. And screw wide by Danny Higginbottom, but Stoke City knocking on the Everton door.
Well, LESCOTT tries to take command, comes across, takes it off the head of a colleague, doesn't get distance, falls to Higginbottom, who tries an ambitious volley.
Neville, FELLAINI, Joe and Sahar ahead of him, so too here, Leon Osman. Jagielka on the overlap. Sahar tried to get there! Inviting ball in.
It's a fantastic ball, wasn't it, from Jagielka?
Everton not done yet, but they are now. The ball smashed away by Wilkinson. The Stoke City fan, but Thomas Sorensen is left grasping at thin air there because of this cross.
Well, Sahar was the nearest to it. Sorensen comes and misses it. He had his eye on Sahar, didn't he? Sorensen took his eye off the ball and was fortunate to get away with it.
It's been the best day for goalkeepers so far. Everton turned again here, it's Etherington. Then you find Joe Yobo. Whelan, who can strike them. Didn't look far away from here.
Well, Whelan wasn't going to turn down that invite. He had yards of space. It's a pretty good effort, this. As the ball comes across his body, gets well over it. Just starts a little too wide. But he certainly makes a great connection.
This game firmly in the melting pot. Joe trying to get the better of Sorensen. Sahar sliding in. It's Joe on his right foot. Stoke City survive. Pienaar. Goal kick is the decision. And Stoke City breathe a huge sigh of relief.
Well, eventually Sorensen makes the save, but I don't think Joe really hit it truly with his lesser, stronger foot, and that was his right foot. That quite clearly is a good decision by the referee. Did come off Pienaar, but that was better link-up play between Joe and Saha that caused a problem to Stoke.
That may well have been game over. That's James Beattie. Joe almost in for his second of the game, which would have been Everton's third.
This is when the effort comes in. He actually slips, doesn't he?
Liam Lawrence leaves the field and Henri Camara comes on. Camara scored against Everton for 3 different clubs. He scored the winner for Wigan against Everton back in November, which many see as the turning point in Everton's season. They went to Tottenham after that and haven't really looked back since. Tony Pulis going for it. It's into the final 10 minutes. Everton with this 2-1 lead. Everton's dashed forward and Tim Howard had to make sure he got to that. Osman. This is Pienaar in space. Joe to his left. Pienaar whistles over the bar.
Well, Pienaar receives a round of applause from the crowd, but I think under no pressure, and nobody really within 5 yards of him, he's entitled to make sure that ball is on target.
Still awaiting his first goal of the campaign. Beattie tried to twist away from Yobo, and the decision has gone against the former Everton striker. Five goals in 7 games for Stoke City, 5 Premier League goals. He scored 13 Premier League goals in 2.5 seasons for Everton. Mainly the formation really that David Moyes employed during his time here, which was the one up front. He was failing to make a real impact here.
And I think he'll be quite pleased that Tony Pulis has left him to play the last 10 minutes up in a central striker position too. I suggested that maybe he comes on the right, but it's Camara who's come to the right.
Joe with the foot trying to link up with Jagielka. It's been a game, second half, where Everton have had to dig in and dig deep to try and hold on to these 3 points. Jack Rodwell is about to come on for Everton. Joe with the layoff to Osman. Sahar. FELLAINI. Where the ball was.
Well, FELLAINI doesn't look the same player second half, does he? He's gone back into his what he would consider to be his rightful position, centre of midfield, but he looks totally out of sorts, having played so well as a central striker in the first half.
He has spent most of his career as a defensive midfielder. FELLAINI, his very short career, we have to say, only 21 years of age, but he's was excellent in the first half, supporting Joe. Got deeper in the second half. Etherington. LESCOTT rising above Beattie. Wilkinson will have to stretch as well. This is Camara. Numbered there by royal blue shirts, Henri Camara. Osman. Joe, Jagielka in space on the far side. Pienaar on this near side here. Great touch by Wilkinson. Otherwise, Pienaar looked to be in for Everton. There's Beattie. Stoke City will fancy the chances of making one last opportunity in these final 6 minutes or so. Words exchanged between Yobo and Tim Howard. Everton's defence, remember, was rock solid coming into this in the Premier League. Since that Ryan Shawcross headed goal at the start of the second half, it looked a little rocky. got closed down. It's been the spirit of Stoke City in the second half. Everton making this change then, and Jack Rodwell coming on. 18 years of age now, Jack Rodwell celebrated his 18th birthday during the week with a family meal. And it's the scorer of Everton's first goal who goes off.
Jack Rodwell.
Very much a neat and tidy player, Jack Rodwell. He will be a future centre-half here at Goodison Park. For now, learning his trade in a central midfield role. Everton looking to close up, and it looks like FELLAINI has gone back to where he was in the first half, playing just off the striker. Here he is, Marouane FELLAINI, backing into Shawcross. Four and a half minutes left to play. After another dramatic turn in this game. Yobo holding off Beattie. Well, Joseph Yobo managed to slip the ball away as well to Osman. Rodwell, there's the neat and tidiness. FELLAINI setting Osman away. Leon Osman, it bounces off Sorensen to PIENAAR. Well, he rectifies his error with a terrific stop. Almost a third goal for Everton.
Well, Sorensen shakes his head. He knows that he made a mess of the first attempt, but the second attempt by him really kept Stoke in this game.
It just hasn't been a day for the goalkeepers at all, has it? Good save though from Sorensen, just to atone for that mistake. Stephen PIENAAR was bearing down on goal, with a goal that now surely would have sealed it for Everton. There we say.
And here comes the run from Osman. PIENAAR tries to take a defender away, hits the target. Sorensen spills it and then makes a brilliant second save to deny PIENAAR.
FELLAINI has the ball taken off his toe by Whelan. FELLAINI with the foul. It was around about this time at Villa Park where Stoke City were 2-0 down in their last away day, and they made it 2-1 and then 2-2. Just the one goal they need now in the last 2 minutes or so.
Just look how many men they've sent forward to get on the end of this free kick from Sorensen. Oh, well, that's fooled everyone.
Hughley done. Higginbottom. LESCOTT away. LESCOTT gets the free kick. A sturdy defence needed now by Everton to hold on and see out this game.
We see the attempt again, and a great save from Sorensen coming up now.
Well, Everton will fancy keeping Stoke City penned in this area now to see out these final few minutes or so. FELLAINI. It's Bones with a cross, but into an area where there was no royal blue shirt. Jagielka finally got there and does do late on. We will have 4 added minutes of injury time. PIENAAR. PIENAAR again. Tommy Sorensen quick to release the ball and try to set Stoke City away here. Off Joseph Yobo. It will be a nerve-stretching final few minutes at Goodison. Etherington. This is Phil Neville. What do Everton do here? Did they go for the corner? Or did they go for the third? Osman. PIENAAR trying to be a little bit too elaborate to try and play Liam Osman in. Just stumbled on the ball and Everton back in possession. This is Louis Sahar, Rodwell to his left. The ball just nudged away from Sahar initially.
Sahar really had a great opportunity there and overindulged in possession, because the ball should have been to Rodwell, who was clear on his left.
It's Marouane Fellaini! That seals it now! 3 priceless points for Everton in their quest for a finish in a European place. Marouane Fellaini kills off Stoke City, surely.
Well, David Moyes will be pleased with that, because he made the decision some 10 minutes ago to push Fellaini back up into an attacking role. Here comes the ball from Baines. The sheer presence of Fellaini as he takes it out the sky with his right foot, brings it onto his left. It takes a bit of a deflection, but there's enough in the shot to take it past Sorensen. Comes off Fai, but Fellaini will definitely claim this. It was on target, and it was destined for the back of the net. The deflection really gives Sorensen absolutely no chance. He'd already gone down for the shot, goes above him into the net, and that must be it.
Or is it? We're into stoppage time, of which we will have 4 minutes. We've had just over a minute already. Everton with a 3-1 lead. It's been a real battle for David Moyes' side in this second half. They really have had to weather the storm, especially for the first 15-20 minutes or so. And Stoke City pulled a goal back through Ryan Shawcross. But they look to have seen that storm out now.
It's another positive performance, isn't it, from David Moyes' men? 3 points, a lot of positives to come out of this. The biggest positive, I would think, has been the performance of Fellaini in a striking role. He's definitely unearthed a player here who I think can play up front for Everton without a problem.
Fellaini with the layoff. He's in the mood, isn't he? Rodwell. Yobo. Baines. Fellaini again. Nice shot, Rodwell. He was lining that up, but player's been pulled back for a free kick to Everton.
I just wonder, you know, if Andre Mariner should have interpreted the advantage rule there, because when Rodwell receives possession here, he's in yards of space.
Well, the candidates here are Baines, Osman and Pienaar. Can Everton put the icing on the cake? It's Leighton Baines. This time he does beat the wall but can't beat Sorensen. Etherington for Stoke City. Etherington again. Özcan. Ricardo Fuller. It's charged down by Lescott. Stoke City will have a corner in the last few seconds of injury time. The way finished at the Britannia Stadium between these two back in September. We'll have the same scoreline here should Stoke City snatch something in the dying embers of this match. David Moyes celebrates 7 years in charge of Everton with a victory, just as he did in his first game at the helm. And Everton maintain their outside chance, some would say, of making a place in the Champions League Certainly, they fancy a chance of making the top 6, and they've beaten Stoke City here by 3-1. Stoke City made a real battle of it in the second half. Everton were 2-0 up at the break thanks to goals from Joe and Johnny and Lescott. It was all Everton in that first 45, but Stoke City staged a mini comeback. Ryan Shawcross made it 2-1, but then right at the end in injury time, FELLAINI killed off Stoke City. It's finished at Goodison Park. Everton 3, Stoke City 1. David, 7 years in charge this weekend, and you celebrate today just as you did on the opening day with a hard-fought victory.
Yeah, I remember it 7 years ago playing Fulham and getting the result here and feeling a relief. And I think all managers after a win, you get a little bit of relief. And I thought today it was the same. It was a hard-fought game, but we got there in the end.
Two sides to the game today. Do you think first half, the flair football you've been playing, the second half you had to be resilient and dig in?
Yeah, and the first half we did play well, went 2-0 up, and I was hoping we could have maybe even get a third before half-time. But I have to give Stoke a lot of credit. They get right back in the game. What they can do, Stoke, I mean, I think they done the same at Aston Villa last week, came from 2 down and got back to 2 each. So the word resilience was right. We had to be tough, we had to be hard at that period, and we stuck at it, got through it, and in the end managed to get another third goal.
Tony, was that a game where you started playing just a little too late?
Well, we're 2-0 down, you know, but we were a little bit disappointed with the second goal. We thought that was offside, but you know, he's still got a free header. The first lad who's headed it, and Thomas made a save off it. You know, we should deal with that ball that comes into the box. So, you know, when he pounds it out, we think the lad who scores is offside. So, you know, sometimes it goes for you, sometimes it doesn't. But second half was more like us. We really got to grips with the game, and you know, they scored late on with us really chasing the game, but for the majority of the second half, we took the game to Everton.
You got the second. Were you slightly offside?
I think everyone's saying I am, but I did have a little peek after I scored, but the linesman kept it down and I just went after their rating.
What about you? You almost scored today. You're still looking for that elusive goal at the moment.
Yeah, I'm on a hunt. I think it's a dry season for me, but yeah, as long as the team win, and maybe next week it might fall it might be Martin.
7 years here. Is this the best squad you've had in your time, do you think?
I think it is. I think that for what they're given and the effort they put in, I think the effort from all the squads I've had here have been fantastic, but I think the quality we've got has been excellent. I think the quantity is probably less than we've had in the past, but nevertheless we're still getting good results.
In the bottom 3 on goal difference, but I suppose it's going to ebb and flow right to the end now.
Yeah, of course it will. You know, I don't think it'll be decided, you know, until late on, and what we've got to do, like I say, is dust ourselves down and make sure we're ready for Middlesbrough, which will be a tough game for us.